Hi,
Here we are.
Randall.
We're live.
Hi. All right, we are live. We have a special guest today. Hi, everyone. Just say hi, and then let us know where you're from, what time it is, where you're, logging in from. And yeah. So Randall, I have a special guest. This is the first time I talked to Randall. We met through LinkedIn, of course, and then Randall has been on LinkedIn for a long time and stuff like that. So Randall, why don't you start with introducing yourself and how we met and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. I'm Randal Constant. I've been in the food business for the last 43 years. So I figured that Christine and I could talk about food somewhere along in the conversation. But the deal is I saw her do her first LinkedIn live and I said, "Oh man, she needs some help. I gotta reach out to her and give her a few pointers for different things because the thing is you could learn so many different things from so many different people. If you pick up one thing, it's a great thing. So the way we ended up getting connected is one day I was looking at my LinkedIn people also viewed list, and it has 20 people on it instead of 10. And I ended up having like Bill Gates and Melinda Gates and CEO of Walmart and some of the sharks. I think it was Damon at the time, uh,
Mhm.
Mr. Wonderful, and then I had Christine. So I had to figure out who is Christine. What is she doing there? So anyway, I sent her an invitation saying, "Hey, what you doing on my list? Whatever." Okay, and then from there she connected. We transferred a few messages between each other, and then when she got started with the LinkedIn Live, I figured that I'd help her out some kind of way, and she invited me to be on her LinkedIn Live.
Yeah. So tell us more about like the food business. Like what's that about? And then I know you live in New by the New Orleans area, right? So I've been
Right.
in I have been there, and then I love it. And then
You like New
we
Orleans, don't you?
what?
You like New Orleans, right?
I like there was the oyster, like there was a restaurant there that was really good, that they have really nice big oysters. I really love it. And
Was
then
it
so
on
we
Bourbon
all
Street?
no I no it, we had to actually Uber somewhere else. Yeah,
Okay.
but I
Was it
think I
Metairie? Was it Drago's?
yes, Dragos.
Drago's. Guess what? You
Yes,
passed in
yes.
front of my house to get there.
Oh, cool,
You are
cool. Well,
blocks away from my house.
next time I go to New Orleans, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to I know someone there now when the
Yeah.
pandemic is up. Okay,
Well,
so
we know what the deal is because they got smoke coming out because there's a bunch of smoke coming from that restaurant. So it's just a few
mhm,
blocks away from where I live. So
mhm,
that's where that deal is. But
mhm. Yeah.
anyway, I just wanted to tell you, I started as soon as I hit 16 years old, I got into the food business. My first job was with Winn-Dixie. I ended up
Mhm.
working with 6 different stores while I was going to high school and college. Okay. And then
Mhm.
I ended up getting a job with Eastern Airlines. So I went to the big city. I was originally from Thibodaux, which was a small town, and I ended up going to the big city. So I
Mhm.
worked with a few airlines and I worked with a few hotels. And then I decided, well, first of all, I ended up getting married. I got married on during the World's Fair year, 1984. So then
Mhm.
it's time to get like one job instead of two jobs. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
so I ended up getting a job at Bar S, and I sold hot dogs and bacon, and I ended up selling imported cheeses, all kinds of different imported cheeses. And
Mhm.
I next thing you know, I'm working 60, 70 hours a week, and I decided I'm gonna start in the food brokerage business, and that was in 1987. So
Mhm.
guess what? You cut all your benefits, no more insurance, no more. You don't get the paycheck, and then you start from
Yep.
scratch, and that's what I did in 1987.
1987. Wow. Okay.
1987.
Mhm.
So the problem that I had was that I was making some money from the restaurant side, and I was making money from the retail side. So it was very,
Mhm.
very hard for me to concentrate on one or the other. So I spent 9 or let's say about 10 years doing both sides of the coin there. And then unfortunately, Walmart got to be a big piece of the pie in Louisiana, and unfortunately, the pie that we were getting a piece of was getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Then you had a few bankruptcies, and then I decided I was going to go into the that I was going to work for this startup, and I started traveling around the country selling frozen
Mhm.
foods. Okay, now
Mhm.
here's the deal: you spend a lot of time working local,
Mhm.
Southern Louisiana, Southern Mississippi, Southern Alabama, and that's a particular type of food. But then when you start selling product all over the country, then you find out that, hey, guess what? uh, Minneapolis, Minnesota is not like New Orleans, and New York
Mhm.
City's not. So everything is all different. So that was interesting. Traveled all around the country and everything.
Mhm.
But the problem that I had is that as time went by, my son got older. He's got cerebral palsy, so I had to kind of stay home. And then once I stopped traveling, it kind of changed
Mhm.
things. So then I decided that that's LinkedIn was the way to go. So back in about 2014, I really got into it as far as content's concerned.
Got it. Cool. So let's talk more about LinkedIn. So you said you started in 2014 and you've been you say pretty active here. So share
Yeah.
with us your journey and then like what have you learned about LinkedIn all these years? It's been like 6 years now, right? So for me I started enter my financial coaching business in 2016, but still had a full-time job. I was working nights and weekends, and I quit my corporate job last year, and then now I have been a full-time entrepreneur since May of last year. And I celebrate my 1 year full-time entrepreneurship a couple of weeks ago, which I did live. And now, so I've only been very active on LinkedIn since September of last year, so it's not yet too long, and I'm still learning. But I love LinkedIn. I'm on here every day. I spend at least an hour, either posting, engaging with people, networking. And so I like it. I really like this platform, but I'm also right now trying to grow on Instagram. So there's only two social media platform. I'm very active on LinkedIn and now Instagram. So share with us. You've been here a long time, 6 years now. So yeah, whatever you can share with people,
Well,
listeners. So
basically what I did is in 2009 when I learned about LinkedIn. Back then, you could only like share articles. You couldn't
mhm.
write any. You couldn't
Yep.
write anything. It was
Yeah.
very limited. So what everybody was doing at that time was taking an article from the Wall Street Journal or a Fortune magazine, and then you would
Um.
share, and then you'd make a comment, and that was kind of the extent of it.
Mhm.
But in 2014, right in around 2014, that's when the articles started, where you got to the point where you could start writing very long articles,
Mhm.
and then people started doing their own thing. So when
Mhm.
2014, 2015 came around, that's when I decided that I was going to start writing about foods in the United States. Because
Mhm.
I had traveled the country and I'd worked with so many different food manufacturers, I just felt that that was a good thing. Now, the thing is, you get so many people that say LinkedIn's only for job resumes.
Mhm.
And you still have a lot of people out there that still think that that's what it's all about. But man,
Mhm.
LinkedIn has changed so much. So 2014, 2015, I really kicked it up. I probably was posting 5 times a day, maybe. And then
Wow.
later on down the road, I was doing 7 times a day. But it's a little different because every
Yeah.
time I post something, it's about a different company. So it's not
Mhm.
like me saying, buy my burritos. I sell burritos or something, and I'm talking about burritos every day, every day, every day. You're gonna
Mhm.
turn me off because you don't want to know about the burritos anymore. But in
Mhm.
my case, I'm writing about so many different companies. Every day is something different, and
Mhm.
and that's when I felt that things were gaining momentum. And then when Microsoft went ahead and bought LinkedIn, then I felt, you know what? I don't think LinkedIn's going to be one of those platforms that's going to disappear. So I
Mhm.
so I felt that if I put the work into it and really worked hard on it, that it would pay off in the future.
Mhm. Got
So that
wow. Yeah,
so
so
that's what I did.
2014, 2015. Okay, so you said at first it was just articles, and then so I think so was were there a lot of people active there already? Because I know when Lorena Acosta
No,
and then Corey, when they start being active, so I guess it just started become more like Shay Robertson, like they just started become active
I
more.
think it
More say,
where it
okay,
kicked off was at the end of 27. I'm sorry, the late summer of 2017. I don't
2017.
know if it
Okay.
was August or September. They
Mm-hmm.
introduced this thing called video.
Oh,
And
okay.
then all of a sudden, I'm looking at all these people doing
Yeah.
videos,
Mm-hmm.
but they were all coming from other platforms. They were coming from YouTube, they were coming from Facebook, whatever. They were coming from different places, and it was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa, what's going on here? And then that's when I started doing videos. Like
Mm-hmm.
it started in 2017, and I did like you. I watched other people to see what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, how they
Mhm.
do on LinkedIn Live. Well, back then you had to see how people were doing a video. I mean, we
Mhm.
didn't know how to do the video. That's what we didn't know how to do. So anyway,
Mhm.
I started in 2018. I started doing videos, and then I ended up adding my son to it. So I started making videos with my son. So I
Mhm.
brought my family into the LinkedIn, because I figured, look, I've been in this business for over 40 years. I think it's
Mhm.
time for my son to be part of the business instead of
Mhm.
being at the hotel while I'm at the food show.
Mhm. Got
But
it.
but one thing I can tell you, back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, if you went to, like in my case, if you go to a food show and you say, "Hey, you ought to I want to connect with you on LinkedIn," you would get people that said, "What is that?"
Mhm.
Or, "I'm not on it." So it's
Yeah.
very frustrating when you run into a lot of different people that are not on it.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
had to go through that situation. But now it's kind of like, I think the word's out, right?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many people nowadays, right, on LinkedIn. I mean, I think LinkedIn is starting to see that it's becoming more a content creators forum because then I was interviewed LinkedIn was doing a research interview of content creators. So I was one of the ones that were picked.
Right.
I signed an NDA so I can't share what we are sharing, but I think they are trying to build that. They're trying to research, they're trying to interview a bunch of content creators because I think they're trying to think about what tool can they give us, because sadly there's no tool out there for creators. Like I literally had to buy an external tool to actually just be able to see my metrics, because there's no way I'm going to track all my posts, manually, right? Because I was doing it initially manually by Excel. I'm like, there's no way, because views change all the time, and then so I'm not going to do that. So at least I love the app that I'm using right now. So
Okay,
Michael, oh,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
tell you what I did last year. Last
Mm-hmm.
year in January, yeah, last January, I
Mm-hmm.
was getting tremendous, view counts for me. It ended up being like
Mm-hmm.
5,000 a day. But you know what the deal is? When you go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and try to keep track of what you did 2 weeks ago, the numbers are changing all the time. There's nothing that you could do to keep track,
Mm-hmm.
and it was very, very
Mm-hmm.
difficult. But
Mm-hmm.
you know about Shield app, right?
That's what I use. So
Okay.
I'm gonna share my link there for people who are interested. But me and Randall track our metrics through Shield, because there we can see our views, our likes, our engagement, and then the pro version I have is that I can actually go to the individual content and I can see the demography, their title, and then what's the third one? There's a third one. Yeah, demography, title, and the company. So you can see the entire 100%, because right now LinkedIn only shows you like the top 5 or something. So they don't give you everything. So which is kind of sad, because Shield is just pulling the information from the server, which is rightly ours. It's just that you can just see it's not very content creator friendly on LinkedIn. So you have to go somewhere else. So let me read through the comment and then we can go talk about
Yeah, go ahead.
algorithm. So Michael Davis said, "Hi, Sister Christine." He always like to call me that. Hi, Michael. Thanks for joining. I appreciate that. And he asked, "Do you see LinkedIn being bigger than Instagram, etc.? The organic outreach on LinkedIn is a lot better." What do you think, Randall?
I'd say the organic reach on LinkedIn is really, really good, and I think that I'm this is just what I hear. I think Instagram is slowing down compared to LinkedIn. I think you
Mm-hmm.
can get super fantastic organic growth on LinkedIn, and that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
the hot platform to be. Now, if you want to jump to TikTok, you got to realize that's a whole new ball game. That's a whole new ball game.
I
The
tried to go
organic growth
there, but
on
I'm like,
TikTok is
no,
crazy.
I don't. Like, I tried to scroll through. I'm like, this was just like, I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Even Instagram, like, I couldn't get into it. But I understand that, I think when I have time, I'll play around more with TikTok. But I'm trying to still see how that can help my brand. Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm all in. I've done a lot of different platforms, but I'm kind of all in on LinkedIn. I'm kind of because that's where the business people are. If you're in a B2B business, that's where they're
Mhm.
at. So that's where you should be. Now,
Mhm.
if I was trying to sell video games to to 10-year-olds, then of course
Mhm.
I'd be doing crazy things on
Yep,
TikTok.
exactly, exactly. Yeah, because like for me, like I think even for what I do, financial coaches, like my clients are working professionals, and then I don't. I mean, yeah, some of them may be on TikTok, some not, but I prefer the more like serious crowd, like like LinkedIn is a platform for working professionals. So let me read
Right.
through the comments. So Calvin Williams said, "Good evening. Yeah, where are you logging on from, Calvin? That it's nighttime there." Art Jimenez said, question mark. Not sure what you mean, Art. So if you can ask what your question mark is. Gita Gurung said, "Good evening." Hi, Gita. So spoke with Gita. So I think yeah, I think she's she's EST. Art says goodbye for now. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Art. Thank you. Felicia said, "Good evening." Yeah, hi guys. If you have any question about LinkedIn or food or money, please feel free to leave that in the comments. I'm reading your comment throughout, and then yeah, we'll just kind of just having a conversation with Randall about, Randall has been on LinkedIn for a very long time, since 2014. He's very active, so he's just sharing his words of wisdom. And then he's in the food business, so he can just chat about food as well. And I love food. And then we can start talking about money. So because I'm a financial coach, we're gonna have to talk about money too as part of this
Yeah, we got to
conversation.
do a little of your stuff too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Calvin said, "Oh, Michigan. Oh, yeah, cool. So it's so it's like 7 o'clock there already." Oh, Gita said hi. Okay, so cool. Yeah. So let's talk about the algorithm. Like, Randall, what do you think? Like, I have a lot of friends, other content creator friends, who always say the algorithm seems to always change. But then when I talk to my LinkedIn friends, or people who work inside LinkedIn, they always claim they don't change it that much. But then I don't know, because like sometimes they start to complain now lately the views start to drop. Although for me, what matters to me the most actually is my reactions. I pay more attention to my reactions and my comments and the type of engagement I'm having. Like today when I posted my content, I did something about what about money are you grateful for. So I got a lot of very quality comments, and then that for me is what matters a lot, because I want people to understand that. I also got a lot of connection requests because a lot of people found value in my video, because it's about you have to be, if you for you to attract more of what you want, you have to be grateful for it. So be grateful for money, be grateful what have money ever given you, right? So for me, money have given me a home, pay for insurance, like support my mom from the in the Philippines. So there's a lot to be grateful for about money. So like when you're able to pay your bills, be grateful that you're able to pay that bills. Be grateful for that. For every time you receive even $10, be grateful that you're receiving that, because out of being grateful, like you open your heart, you open your energy, so you can attract more of that. Really believe in that law of attraction. Like you attract more of what you're thinking about, and then gratefulness just opens that up. So yeah, so tell me, let's talk about that algorithm. What do you think of the algorithm of LinkedIn, Randall? Do you think
Well,
it's changing?
the thing with me, it's a little. I'm a little different because I'm not
Mm-hmm.
trying to work all the different platforms. I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
sticking to LinkedIn. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that I'm diversifying, I'd say out of the, I tell you what, I averaged 8.3 um, posts per day for the whole year for the last
Okay.
366 days. Okay,
Okay.
all right. So 8.3. So what happens
Mm-hmm.
is when you post more, you're not going to get the view count that you would get. You post less than
Mm-hmm.
I, so you're
Mm-hmm.
going to get, when you do your LinkedIn live, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to get a lot more comments than I ever will, because I'm kind of penalized for putting the by
Mm-hmm.
posting that much. But I don't mind, because the only way that you're going to gain additional views is by continuing to put the content out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing I heard yesterday from Sean Cannell, did a YouTube yesterday. I think it might be 2 years. It might be 2 years old, but they were talking about the fact that there's 675 million people on the platform. There's
Mm-hmm.
250 million active users, and only
Mm-hmm.
5% of those guys are doing content. So that
Mm-hmm.
shows you that if there's that little, if there's only 5% of them doing
Mm-hmm.
content, that means there's a lot of chance for organic growth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and then you're connected to the quality of connection that you have on LinkedIn is pretty good, really, really
Okay.
good.
Yeah. So
unfortunately, I don't know about you, but I've been getting connection requests from people with zero connections lately. Once the pandemic came up, a lot of people, that joined.
yeah.
Uh, you have to send a. If you want to connect with somebody, you have to have that story. You gotta say what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah,
Hello,
yeah.
don't do it. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. So update, guys, update your profile and make sure that, like the easiest things to update your description, update your keywords. So like your headline, when I say headline, the one right below your name. So for me, like I did a trial and error, like what headline garners the most. Think about it as your SEO within LinkedIn. Like how would people search for you? So you can know, like you will know what kind of keywords work by actually look at your search appearance there. So every time you like do some changes, that you change your search appearance. So it's like, have you done that tracking, Randall? Like have you play around with like different keywords, SEO, to see like if your search appearance is gonna go up or down?
I've tried. I don't think I do a really really good job at doing that.
Hmm.
I think that I'm probably leaving some words out that probably would kick things up a lot
Hmm.
more. So my search thing is not, it's not a high.
Hmm.
My search deal, I think it's 50. I think I'm at like 1,500 for the last 90 days,
Oh,
which
okay.
which is nothing compared to you. I'm sure you're probably got 6,000 or something.
No, actually, mine's only 3,000. So
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure it out. So I mean, when I try to change my headline to like I help like young working professionals, it dropped down to 1,500. So it was
Oh,
it was kind of funny. So I changed it back to financial coach and stuff like that. So it went back up to 3,000.
right,
So
right.
yeah, so if anyone here listening know any tips on that one, if done playing around A/B testing on the keywords and your search appearances, let us know and then leave it in the comment. Okay, so I'm not an expert in that. I'm still kind of playing around with it, like, but then whatever you do with your description and your keywords actually will change your search appearances. And I haven't really talked to a lot of people what their search appearance is, so I think I'm gonna maybe ask some of my friends like, oh, what's your search appearance? Because I'm just curious, what exactly will drive that up, because like I don't know how to Google my way out of that. So it's like I think you're just gonna have to ask people about it. So okay, so yeah, so I know you said that you post a lot on LinkedIn. So for me, I actually post only once a day, because mainly because I just don't I like to interact with my audience. So I
Right.
like to have as many comments as possible, as much reach from that one comment. So not one post, then I usually reply to it throughout the day. I like to respond to all comment because I want to build a relationship. So I don't hire a VA, guys. So the comment is coming from me. I
From
know
you.
people who have hired VA, and then so it's like I don't know. I feel like that's just not very personable. Like you just okay, just hire out to someone and let them. Because I know several people who just hired a VA. I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to interact with them that much. So yeah. So for me, once a day, and then I like to spend the rest of my time nurturing other people, my audience or whatever, through DMs and stuff like that. And I need to do other things too outside of LinkedIn, because if I post 8 times a day, then I don't know how I can spend time outside. So anyway, so why don't we start talking about your money story? So yeah, why don't let's talk about that. Let's talk
Okay, I'm gonna go
money.
back.
Okay,
I'm gonna
go.
go back and tell you what
Yeah.
happened when I got started with the business.
Mhm.
I got a good story on that one.
Mhm.
Back in '87. Let's see. I started the business in '87,
Yeah.
and then in '88 I had a chance to buy a house.
Mhm.
But guess what happens when you start a business and you try to buy a house? It don't
Yeah,
work too good,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah. You gave me an idea. Like I have some. There's a friend of mine who always posts on LinkedIn. I forgot his name. He's a realtor and he always posts. So I'm gonna have him as my guest too, so we can talk about real estate business and stuff like that. So okay, go ahead. Cause like he was telling me that it's actually easy for them to actually approve entrepreneurs. So I don't know like what their
Wow.
criteria is. So I'm
Yeah, but
curious to know.
you got to remember the
Yeah.
interest rate right now is way
Mhm.
lower than back then, at 10 and a
Yeah.
half, 11, 12. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a whole new ball game. And then the thing
Yeah.
is, later in life, when you heard the deal about the 3% down and stuff like, I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, because back then they wanted 20% down. So
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything like that. So let me tell you what I did.
Mhm.
Back then, I don't know if you're old enough to remember Lotus 123. That was before Excel. Are you?
No, I never. I don't think I ever use it.
Okay, okay. Well, that's the IBM. That was IBM
Uh-huh.
suite of putting something together. So what I did
Uh-huh.
was I took my first 2 years of business and I put this graph together about how my business was taking off, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I couldn't get approved at the bank at the time, but guess what? I got
Mhm.
approved from the owner,
Mhm.
and I ended up putting my first three payments down to get the house. How about
Oh.
that? Can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
imagine? So you take the back in the day 10.5% interest. So can you imagine
Wow.
buying a house with the January, February, and March payment, and then in April you make your first payment with nothing down? Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's yeah, and then everyone, so even I still see people like complain about how the mortgage is still high. So if you just Google historical mortgage
Oh man.
interest, we are still at the lowest. So actually it's a very good thing. Like, I mean, Rhonda, why didn't you tell us historically what your interest rate mortgages have you paid?
Okay. Well, here's the deal. Here, this is what
Mhm.
happened. You're not gonna believe this one. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
I forgot what it was, 35 or 45 days later, the guy
Yeah.
calls me up and he says, "Hey, we can't work this deal. We need you to get financing yourself." Wait a
Hmm.
minute. I just bought the house. What?
Hmm.
How am I going to do that? Well, anyway, you know how they had the loans where you got approved for 30%
Hmm.
with no income, with no verification of the income or something like that. So I
Hmm.
was able to get the house. You ready? Went from
Hmm.
106. I bought the house for 81 by
Hmm.
getting my own financing. So can you imagine on the amortization schedule, if you started at 106, how long it would get down, how long it would take to get to 81, right? You know that.
A while.
A long time.
So
So here it
yes.
is, three months later, right? 3 months later,
Hmm.
my thing is 81,000. How about that?
Hmm. Oh, so how did you get your own you're talking about you went to your bank, right? Or
No, I had to get it from, yeah, I had to get it from a bank, but the interest
Mhm.
rate, back then was I think 10 and a half,
Wow.
right around that
Dang.
time.
So this is, I mean, okay, what was the lowest mortgage interest you've ever financed?
I think I refinanced it like uh, 6 or 7. That's it. I didn't never got to experience the low ones of today. I ended
Oh,
up,
really?
I ended
Wow.
up, yeah, I ended up paying it off before
Yeah, yeah.
it ever got really, really low.
Oh, that's good. So you have no more mortgage payment.
No,
That's awesome. That's great, Randall. So for me, like I live in Silicon Valley, so it's it's not cheap here, but
you're in a whole new ball game,
yeah, so but we were glad that we bought a home back in, I think, end of 2016. Even then, like, my boyfriend was saying, "Oh, it's expensive," but I'm so glad we bought it because then it's a lot more expensive now. So I think it's relative, right? So when you buy something, even though it might sound expensive, but if it's keep on appreciating, then you're only gaining money. And then here in Silicon Valley, like, rent around my area is like $3,000 for a nice one, even like a one
right?
bedroom, $3,000. So that's almost a mortgage. And then so it's very expensive here. So for sometimes for some people it's better to own a home financially, because then, first of all, your rent will never increase, so that's like rent control for you right there. If you're on a
Right,
30-year fixed mortgage, then your rent will stay the same, and then sometimes, it might even go down if you pay more. But for me, like, so this is all relative to everyone, but for me, we decide to run our 30-year mortgage, for the lifetime of it. So we have it's a 30-year fixed mortgage, and it's a 3.625%. So we decided that if we have $1,000 extra in cash, right? So you have the choice, either do I invest it or do I pay off my mortgage? So I decided that to just invest that. Why? Because then we still get mortgage interest deduction because it's low
right,
enough that it didn't hit the cap. So effectively, we're only paying 3.5%. Then so my investments, well, I know the coronavirus tanked the investments, but still, average wise, I still get like 7-8% in my investments. So it's a no brainer. I get twice as more in my investment. So I don't believe, I know there's a lot. really big financial gurus out there who always say, pay off your debt, pay off your, never have any debt. But I think mortgage is I look at like the ROI.
Right.
Where would I get more money back with my ROI? Of course, credit card debt, I mean, that's a no-brainer. It's 20%, you have to pay that off. Or you have to somehow refinance that if you can. But if you don't have a good credit score, it will be very hard for you to refinance that. Oh,
The whole
Anna.
the whole deal
Yeah.
is paying your bills on
Yep.
time. I know
Yep.
this is a different situation now. Everything is crazy, but I mean, I'm talking
Mhm.
about before this even happened. It's
Mhm.
just so important to be in contact with the guys that you owe.
Mhm.
Communication is the thing because you
Mhm.
can work a lot of deals if there's just communication. Because people
Mhm.
understand all kinds of things go wrong, and there's a lot
Mhm.
of things going wrong for sure now.
Mhm.
There's
Good.
no doubt about that. But one
You
thing
know.
that you said, the thing that a lot of people want to jump into a house, the main thing that you got to realize is that are you
Mhm.
sure you want to stay where you're at? That's the main thing.
Yes, and then even if you're not, I mean, you have to kind of know, like, be prepared for, like, okay, are you gonna rent it out or something like that. But so that's a part of me as a coach. We walk through that. I ask them a lot of questions. What is your goal? So you don't want to just buy because everybody else is doing it. I mean, so what if everybody
No,
else is? Oh,
and
Randall, I realized I just got accepted for LinkedIn Live on my company page.
whoa, watch out.
But well, yeah, yeah. So you are officially my first LinkedIn Live guest that it has been live streaming on the company page. Although nobody has commented there yet, but most of the comments is coming from the personal page. But wow, you know what's so weird? I never got the email. Like even when I got approved for my LinkedIn Live for my personal page, I never got an email. My friend from LinkedIn told me that I got approved. I'm like, I never got the email, and then like I saw this red dot on my profile. You know the
I
one
got
that
the
says,
same thing.
I'm
I thought it was. I
like,
didn't believe it. And
yeah,
I asked, I don't know if you know Cher Jones.
no.
She lives in Toronto. She's a
Okay.
LinkedIn trainer. And
Yeah.
I showed it to her and she said, "You got approved." And I just didn't want to,
Mhm.
even though I know she knows what she's talking about, it was like, I
Mhm.
can't believe it. And then come to
Yeah.
find out, that's how I found out. It was on my
Mhm.
dashboard that
Yeah.
I got approved. So what I
Yeah,
do is
just
once I
by
got
the
that
dot, right? That says on the left. But then like on the company page, like I see here, like I'm like, I don't know how I can tell that I have LinkedIn Live on my company page, except that I just connected with on StreamYard, and it just ran. It just yeah, it just went in because last time I tried to do that, it bombed on me. It says
yeah,
error.
me
But now
too.
I
Me
can
too.
now I can stream to 5 destinations because I have the pro version of StreamYard, so it's 5 versions. So I'm streaming to YouTube, my personal and business LinkedIn, and my personal and business Facebook. So 5 places. I'm utilizing, maximizing everything.
And you guys
Yeah.
going
You
everywhere.
you have the pro too, right? For StreamYard?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't I think that's what I have. I know I have at
Yeah.
least two destinations I could go to, but I
Mhm.
keep on trying
Where
to
do you
check to
stream
see
to?
exactly what that is.
Where do you stream to?
I stream to LinkedIn personal and LinkedIn business.
Ah, got it, got it. So okay, okay. And then tell us more about, like you said you grow your company page to over 1,000. So tell us how you grow your company page.
Well, this is what happened. I used to I think if you sell something for a living, you know, you're a
Mhm.
salesman. I don't care, whoever it is. I think it's a good idea to set up a LinkedIn company page. And let's say you sell oranges, right? Let's say you sell oranges.
Mhm.
Then you should set it up and at least put one post that says, "Hey, I sell oranges. Um, that's what I sell. I'm a farmer. I sell
Mhm.
oranges, and that's what I want you to know me for." Okay.
Mhm.
So when you look at the business, go to the business, even though the company's not active, then you
Mhm.
know that the guy or the girl or the couple sell
Mhm.
oranges for a living. And I think that's what you
Mhm.
ought to do. The deal was to get followers. You could do a LinkedIn live or you could do a post and you say, "Follow me."
Mhm.
And people think, "Oh man, what do I got to do that?" And then they don't do it because it's hard. But when you set
Mhm.
a connection that says all you got to do is click this button and you're going to be a follower, man, that works so good. You have to make it so easy for the people that you want to follow you. You got to think about them, not you. You got to
Well,
go
how
where.
do you make them follow your company page? You're saying you send invitation
This
to
is what happened.
follow?
Okay, this is
Okay.
what happens on December 13th. I
Okay.
ended up. I ended up getting the LinkedIn invite feature. Now, it
Mhm.
other people around the world had it before, but I got it on the 13th, and
Mhm.
they allowed me to invite 50 people that
Mhm.
I'm connected to on my personal page.
Mhm.
Personal connections that I could invite them to go to my LinkedIn company page. So when I did that, I ended up getting a 35 or 40% conversion.
Mhm.
When you can get 40% of the people that you invite to accept, man, that's lights out.
Yeah. Okay.
So in,
Oh, go ahead.
so what I was going to tell you is that it only lasted 7 days, and then the feature went away, and
Oh.
then later in, I think, late January or early February, it
Mhm.
came back
Mhm.
again. But this
Mhm.
time they said you can invite 25 people a day. And what I
Oh.
do is I go ahead and invite people every day, and you don't want to skip it because you lose that, you
Mhm.
lose.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So someone asked in the comment, Pamela said, "Hi, Pamela. Can we get tips on how to do a LinkedIn Live?" So basically, first of all, if you don't, assuming you don't have LinkedIn Live, you have to apply for LinkedIn Live first. Just Google LinkedIn Live application. So apply that. So your personal LinkedIn Live is a different application process than your company LinkedIn Live. So I actually just got approved for my company LinkedIn Live. I'm streaming to both of them. So and in terms of tips on how to do LinkedIn Live, so Pamela, if you once you get approved, please feel free to message me or Randall, and we can definitely help you get set up because I was so excited when I got it, and then I was like, how do I do this? How do I do that? So and then yeah, and then Brenda Miller helped me out to actually do a LinkedIn Live. So I really appreciate that. So Pamela, feel free to reach out to us, and then we'll be more than happy to help you set that up once you have it. But first of all, get approved first because that can take a while, a month or even longer than that.
Longer.
Okay. Yeah. So Randall, so okay, before we end this call, so unless people, if you have any more question for Randall and me, please go ahead and put in the comment before Randall leaves. So Randall, so like I know you're on LinkedIn a lot, so why don't you share with us like how can people find you? Are you open to people connecting with you? What are the type of people you want to connect with you and stuff like that?
Well, basically, my connect anybody can follow me. I get messages all the time that say I'm in a different business, but I still like
Mm-hmm.
food, so I
Mm-hmm.
want to follow you. So that's not a big deal there. On the connection side, I'm pretty much connecting to the people that are in the food business on the domestic level.
Mm-hmm.
Any one of the 50 states, if you produce a food item or a beverage item, that's the type of people that I want to connect. But
Mm-hmm.
if you send me I had a guy that's an architect, Michael Ballard.
Mm-hmm.
He had a stroke, and he started doing videos on recovering from the stroke. Healthy
Mm-hmm.
eating. And he wrote me a letter and said, "Hey, he's an architect, but he wanted to connect with me because of the love for food and the fact that he was living in New Orleans." So I said, "Okay, I'll do it." And that's kind of what I'm looking at. People that are interested in food, and that should be almost anybody on the planet, right?
Got it. Yep, yep. Yeah. Anybody in the planet and money too. Like
Money
it can
too.
all relate with money. So okay. So yeah, okay. So I think any last word you have about to anyone like starting on LinkedIn before we end this call, like
Oh,
any
one The
tips?
one thing I was going to say is that you're talking about applying. The thing that you have to remember when you apply for LinkedIn Live is that you're
Mm-hmm.
doing a live event. You're doing
Hmm.
live, and live is not like doing a video that you edit to death.
Yes.
Whatever you do
Which is
on
good. I
live,
love it. I love it because I don't know how to video edit actually. So this is great. Like I don't have to worry about editing the videos. It just here is raw, authentic. You see it
it's
as it is. I'm in my PJs and this is my office and then like so I'm just
no,
being
I
me and
saw you, and I said, "Well, you're just talking, and you don't care. I mean, you just
yeah, no, this is
whatever
yeah,
happens."
because when people like work with me, this is how I show up in the sessions. I don't have to dress up, whatever, wear makeup. Just be you because I'm here to provide you my service, and then like I'm here to help you. So it's not about me looking good or whatever. Although I'm not gonna just show up all like messy or anything. But then like, so this is the life. So I love it, and this is just perfect. I don't have to worry about having to create videos every single week because like sometimes I get into a pattern. I'll post like 3 videos a week. Today I actually did a video and then all of a sudden I get lazy, then I'm not posting videos for like 3 weeks. So with the LinkedIn Live, it helps me keep accountable because I have lots of guests who wants to be on the show. So if anyone watching, if you want to be a guest, feel free to just message me. We're gonna talk about whatever you want, and then we're gonna talk about money too, because I'm a financial coach. So if you have to be comfortable sharing about your money story too. Okay, so whatever you're comfortable to share. So Pamela said, "Thank you very much. You're very welcome, Pamela." So yeah, so yep. So that's about it. So
Well,
hopefully, guys, I hope you got a lot out of this, and then thank you so much for people who tune in. I really appreciate that. And then yeah, if you